Hello and welcome to another video here on my YouTube channel. Every year I get requests and questions for this one, so I'm doing another video on how to follow a raw diet in the winter, in the colder months. So let's dive into that in this video. Thank you so much again for joining me here on my YouTube channel. If you like videos like this, please click like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can click the bell to get notifications whenever I post a new video. And we are part of some amazing Black Friday deals right now. The plant-based bundle is probably the best way to get some of our ebooks. We've got 12 different things in there, including video courses and recipe books, the wrap book, the taco book, party food, all kinds of yums in this bundle. You pay $50 to get the bundle and you get all of our stuff plus everyone else's. Our stuff is valued at $462, but you're getting it all for 50 bucks. So it's like, I think it's 89% off. So if you wanted to get any of our books, check out the bundle. The link is in the description box below. And if you didn't want the bundle, you can enjoy 60% off any of our ebooks off our e-store with code RAWFOOD60. The link for everything, including the link for Excalibur dehydrators, because they have a sale going on right now, Harvest Right freeze dryers, and Osea skincare, the vegan skincare line that I love. They all have some awesome sales, so go click on any of the links in the description box below for any of the deals if you're interested. So let's talk about going raw in the winter. So I have been now raw over 9 years, but my first 5 years raw were in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta. And we currently live in Las Vegas, so it's definitely not winter here. It does get a little chilly, but it's nothing. It's nothing like living in Edmonton. So in Edmonton, our winters would be anywhere between -20 and -40 for the most part. And it snows like 7 months out of the year from like mid-October to mid-May. It's snowing. Produce is expensive, and it was challenging to do raw in Canada. I didn't have as wide of a variety as I do here, but I made it work. So I wanted to share some of the tips that helped me to stay raw during those first 5 winters while I was living in Canada. The first and most important one would be to eat enough calories for your body. If you're not eating enough on any diet, it doesn't matter if you're raw or vegan or just eating standard North American. If you're not eating enough calories, your body downregulates your metabolism. So you can feel a lot colder more often because you're just not giving your body enough fuel. It's so important to fuel your furnace. We all have an internal furnace and we all need to fuel our bodies. Otherwise, our bodies start to shut down and go into hibernation mode because we're just not giving it enough fuel. It's like putting coals into the fire in a train, for example, as an analogy. In order to make it go, you need to put fuel in so it can go. Same with the body. And in order to feel warmer, we need to actually have enough energy for our metabolism to burn, which creates the heat. So it's super, super important. I remember when I was not raw or vegan or anything, I would do kind of like, I was stuck in diet culture, so I did the whole calorie restriction thing every once in a while to try and lose weight. But when I would do those calorie restriction times, like I'd be eating 1,200, 1,400 calories, I would be so cold. No amount of cooked foods or warm soups would help me. I felt cold a lot of the time, even in the summertime. So it wasn't the temperature of the food that was causing that. It was the fact that I was not eating enough. Then when I went raw and I started eating over 2,000 calories a day, on average right now I eat around 2,400 calories, give or take. In the beginning days of my raw journey, I was eating 2,100 to 2,300, and I felt perfect. My temperature was perfect. I didn't feel cold. I didn't feel super hot. I felt balanced, but I was fueling my body with exactly what it needed, and I wasn't restricting my calorie intake or my variety as much as I could. I mean, I was subject to what was available, but we'll talk about that in a second. So eating enough is key. If you are feeling cold, check your calories and make sure that you're eating enough and you're fueling your body with enough energy to burn. The second tip would be to not eat things straight out of the fridge. And I learned this early in because I didn't like, going outside and doing all the outside stuff and then coming home and having a cold salad with a cold dressing and eating this cold food. I didn't enjoy it. Or making a cold smoothie. I didn't want that. I wanted room temperature stuff. And I didn't crave hot things. I just didn't want cold things. So I would take food out of the fridge before going out or whatever, so it could come to room temperature. Like cucumbers and tomatoes, I ended up starting to leave on the counter, and tomatoes are much better living on the counter anyways. They shouldn't really be in the fridge. They're a fruit, so they do best on the counter. Cucumbers I would leave on the counter only for a couple days because they would kind of go bad faster. For the most part, I left those on the counter. I would take out the lettuce and I would just leave stuff on the counter for an hour or so before I had to make my food. And I know not everyone's able to do this because of the busy days and stuff like that, but this is just a tip. If you can incorporate it into your life, it really, really, really helps. I would take the food out of the fridge and it would come to room temperature, at which point I would make my salads and I would blend my dressing and warm it up slightly in the blender, because you can use the blender blades, which is tip number 3, to warm up dressings or soup bases or whatever sauces you want. If you have a high-speed blender like a Vitamix, you can actually put it on high for about 1.5 to 2 minutes and it warms up the sauce. So you can have a warm marinara for your zucchini noodles or a warm soup base and pour it over some marinated vegetables. That can work as well, especially if all the ingredients are coming out of the fridge cold. So eat foods at room temperature, and this will really help to keep everything balanced, because we're not eating outside in the cold. We're eating in, a temperature controlled environment in our houses. So we're not compensating for going outside and eating our dinner, our cold salad at -20. We're not doing that. We're eating a room temperature salad in a room temperature environment, and that's the goal. So the third tip, again, using the blender to warm things up, but also using the dehydrator. So what I would do a lot of the time, and still do, obviously, is we marinate vegetables in the dehydrator, and then we blend a warm soup base and we make warm soup. So that's something that you can do as well. I have some soup recipes in the Make It Raw 2 book, which is in the bundle, and you can totally enjoy some different recipes and just make sure it's all at room temperature. Again, that was really, really, really helpful. I also ate a lot of warming herbs and spices, and again, I still do. I love my spices. So things like cayenne pepper, rosemary, cinnamon is a really good one, ginger, black pepper. These are very warming spices. And I find it really interesting that a lot of these warming spices are used in holiday favorite meals, like holiday menu 1 and holiday menu 2. I use a lot of these spices in those recipes that you can get in the bundle. And like the pumpkin mushroom loaf, and in volume 1 there's the cozy stuffing. I use a lot of really warming spices, and you can always add cayenne pepper or any spicy peppers that stimulates circulation as well. But this really helped me, along with all the other tips that I'm sharing, to stay warm and raw during the winter. Rosemary is so amazing for circulation. We put it in shampoo for circulation to the scalp, and it's a great circulation stimulator in our diet. So adding rosemary to things can be really helpful as well. As for the social situation, this is a challenge during the winter because we have so many social gatherings that many of us go to, and everyone else is eating other things, and we may feel the draw to consume those things too, traditional meals that we've made in the past or holiday favorites, that kind of thing. And it really comes down to what you want. this is only going to last a certain amount of time, and then we're going to do it again next year. So choosing what you want based on your goals, choosing for today, choosing to be the person that you want to be tomorrow is going to be very helpful. And in those situations, what I would do is, number one, I would take my own food for sure, and I would take enough to share with others if they didn't want any. This is more for me. If we were going to a restaurant, I would call the restaurant ahead, or I would bring my own dressing and just have them build me a raw salad, and I would just pour my own dressing on there. And just be really caring and loving towards your family, because during the holidays, they want to share their food with you, which is totally understandable. Food brings people together and we like to chew together, but sometimes we are on a different road than they are, and that's totally okay. But when we decline their food, they might subconsciously feel rejected by you, and they feel fearful because you're changing and they don't want to change and they want you to stay the same, and they're not ready for change, but you're changing, and it's like really confusing for them. And they sometimes can lash out, make fun, or debate you, or bully you even. And this is just their response to your choice. It has nothing to do with you as a person. It's just your choice is a mirror to their choice. And when you say no to their food, then they feel rejected. And the best way to get around this is to kindly say, oh, thanks, I'm so glad you thought of me, and thank you for sharing, but I'm good right now. I have my salad, I'm good, but I really appreciate you and I love you, and shower them with love. Because when somebody is feeling rejected, the best way to deal with that is to show them love, that you actually really do appreciate them, and change the subject, talk about them, ask them a question, try to bring them in instead of just saying like, no, I don't eat that. Like, that's not going to be very kind or compassionate, especially when they're dealing with like, you're changing. And that's really hard for them. I mean, it's hard for you to change, first off, but it's hard for them to see you change too. It's like their whole world is changing without them wanting that change. So you have to really be more compassionate and considerate with them. And that I found was to be really helpful for me during the winter months. Another big challenge that I had was poor produce and expensive produce. In Edmonton, it was more expensive, and it was like 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than conventional. So I didn't really eat a whole bunch of organic. And we, right now, we call ourselves accidental organics. So if it's organic, yay. If not, we still get it if we want it, because it's variety and it's different nutrition, and we don't get too crazy about the organic thing. Again, we do eat organics and we buy them, but we don't stress out. I think that's the main point. We don't stress out about it, because I'd rather consume enough calories from a wide variety of food and not break the bank than to struggle trying to afford a few things and eat less variety and not have enough money to buy the amount of calories that we need on a raw diet. So you really have to make those choices based on your own situation, your location, your financial ability. It's really going to depend on you, and to not compare yourself to other people who may be doing all organic or who are getting all these variety or whatever. Do the best you can with where you live and what's available to you, and that's going to be the best that you can do. And again, don't compare yourself, because comparison is the thief of joy. Just do what you can do best. So when it comes to poor produce, it was hard because I would see all these people eating like mangoes and dragon fruit and stuff, and I'm like, one dragon fruit's like $8. So it's like really hard. But what I did was I would remind myself that I was blessed enough to get what I could get. I was blessed enough to be able to afford what I could. So I tried to really focus on that aspect of it, and I did a lot of bananas and dates because they were less expensive and they were more available. I did apples and pears, and a lot of plums was another fruit that I ate. Grapes were another one too. But because I didn't have a huge variety of fruit available to me, and a lot of the tropical stuff, like I really didn't eat a lot of mangoes, because mangoes were like $5 each, and that was really expensive to me 9 years ago, and they're even more expensive now. So I didn't eat a lot of those foods because they just weren't within my means. So I defaulted to a lot of greens and a lot of salads, and that's why I found that I eat a lot of salads, is number one, because I just didn't have the fruit available. But I'm grateful that this was the case for me, because I ate so much more variety and I healed my gut with the variety, and my gut is so much stronger now because of it. So in a way, I'm actually very grateful that I didn't have that availability back then, because it brought me to eating more salads and more vegetables and sprouting and all of that, because that was more affordable for me. And it turns out that it was really healthy for me in the end. Cravings can be kind of challenging during the winter months, especially when we want that coziness. So asking yourself why you're having a craving, and remembering that hunger is the signal and a craving is a symptom of hunger. So ask yourself if you're hungry, if you have gone too long without eating, if you've been portion controlling, if you've been skipping meals. If you went too long without eating, go make a smoothie or have a salad or something, have some fruit, whatever. Get some healthy fuel into your body, because cravings, again, are usually just a symptom of hunger, usually, for the most part. You've got other things that can cause cravings, like emotional stuff, peer pressure, and tired, lonely, or bored. These kinds of things can trigger a craving as well, but recognize that a craving is usually just a reflection of your habits. So when you're tired or bored, usually you go for potato chips. So that's what you're going to typically crave when you're tired or bored. If you go out with your friends and they are all eating pizza, then you're going to crave the pizza because that's what's typically there when you go out with friends, for example. These are just examples. So usually we crave what we habitually choose. But once we change the habit, we change what we crave when we're hungry, or when we're in any situation where food is involved. We naturally default to what we habitually choose. So for Nate and I, for example, when we're hungry, we default to raw food because we've been doing it for so long. That's just default. That's our craving when we're hungry, is raw food, because it's a habit. Once it becomes your reality, it becomes really easy. But in order to get there, you have to take the time to recognize the craving and realize that for the most part, it's hunger, or you have to deal with other emotional things that are surrounded. Like if you're lonely or tired, maybe call a friend, and make sure you eat too. Don't ignore a craving. Ignoring a craving is just putting it off until later, because you're really putting off hunger until later. Because when we're full, we really don't crave a lot of stuff. It's pretty rare that we have a craving, unless, again, it's emotional or peer pressure or whatever. When we're full, we really don't want that stuff. When we're hungry, though, it all looks amazing and delicious. So we have to realize that filling ourselves up with good food can really be helpful in those times of cravings. Make sure that you're full, you're eating enough. Eat before you go to the family gatherings, and bring your own food so you have plenty of things to eat that align with your goals. And finally, a few other tips to help through the colder months would be to exercise more. Exercise is amazing. It stimulates the circulation, it gets everything going. If you're feeling cold, get up and do 100 squats, you'll warm up. Do some jumping jacks, you'll warm up. Sweaters, warm clothes, a space heater. If the environment is cold, then you're gonna be cold even if you're eating cooked foods. So environment stuff can be fixed as well. And sometimes holding like a warm cup of water can be really cozy. This kind of stuff, saunas and steams and hot baths, are all great as well. And finally, don't force it. You don't need to say, I can't have this and I can't have that and I can't do this because I have to do this. This kind of language can, again, put us into like a restrictive box. Choose raw food over the winter because you want to, because you are able to. Do it because it's a desire, not because you have to. If you are challenged, eat as high raw as you can and have a little bit of steamed vegetables if you want to. Do the best that you can instead of giving up altogether because you can't do it perfectly. Perfectionism is also a thief of joy, and trying to be too perfect in a situation where you aren't able to can really bring you down. And that's not what we're going for here. We're going for joy and excitement and desire and want. You have to want it. If you want to eat raw food through the winter, take the steps to do so. And don't feel bad if you fall off. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Mistakes. If you make a mistake or whatever, I don't believe they're mistakes, but we'll go into that more in detail tomorrow for tomorrow's video. But hopefully those tips helped again for you to this year during this winter, if you're in the wintry side of the world. But otherwise, it is Black Friday and we have some amazing deals going on. The plant-based bundle is the best deal right now. If you're looking for some of our ebooks, you're getting 12 of our ebooks and courses in the bundle. And the amount that we've contributed is $462 worth of content, and you're getting everything plus everyone else's stuff for only $50. It's like 89% off if you were to just buy our stuff. So it's such a great deal. Go check out the plant-based bundle. Grab it if you're interested in getting like the wrap book, the taco book, party food, holiday menu 1, holiday menu 2, make it raw 2, checkmate your cravings video course, microgreens video course, the raw vegan kitchen essentials video course, the Alive Sprout book, Dude Food, and Nice Cream. You get all of those for $50 when you buy the bundle. If you didn't want to buy the bundle though, you can get any of our ebooks or collections 60% off with code RAWFOOD60. I'm also part of the Ultimate Yoga Bundle for anyone out there who's interested in yoga and wants to get my Raw Vegan Transition Guide. That's part of the Ultimate Yoga Bundle. Links for everything is in the description box below. So plant-based bundle, the yoga bundle, our 60% off sale, Excalibur Dehydrator has a sale, Harvest Right has a sale, Osea Malibu, the skincare line that I love and use, is also on sale too. They have a great gifting deal going on right now. It's so crazy awesome. So go check everything out. Link in the description box below, and we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about mistakes and how I view them. So thank you again for joining me. If you like this video, please click like. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell if you want to get notifications sent directly to you whenever I post a new video. Until then, I love you all so much, and fruit on.